Hey guys, so what you're looking at right here is what I like to call my sample hoarding drawer. I literally have so many makeup samples, and if this doesn't explain how much makeup shopping I do online, I don't know what does, but I have a sample for like everything to do a full face. So that's exactly what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna go ahead and pick samples because a lot of these things I've never tried before. A lot of the samples in here are stuff that I've never used. Everything from like foundation to even like setting spray. So I'm just gonna go ahead, pick things up that I haven't tried, and we're gonna do a full face and see how they perform. So let's get to it. Okay guys, so I have all these samples here. The only thing I don't have samples for is like eyeshadow. So I just did like a little bit of eyeshadow today, just like a natural like little cat eye, smoky a little bit. But I have like lipstick and setting spray and like everything else for a full face and mascara, so that's what we're gonna start with. Okay guys, so I have all my samples picked out and they're all like high-end samples. The only thing I don't really have is eyeshadow, so I just threw on like a quick natural eye real quick, like a little bit of smoky eye, but I do have mascara, so I think that's what we're gonna start with. So this I actually received as a gift, but I'm considering it like samples because it's a sampler pack of mascaras. It's actually one of the Sephora favorites things, so you can like try them all out and then go back and return the little card inside for a full free size mascara, which is really cool. So if they have this, if I can find it, I'll link it in the description box. But there's a couple in here actually that I haven't tried yet. They have the Urban Decay, Tarte, Lancome, Buxom, and Bobbi Brown. So I think today I'm gonna try the Buxom one because it shows a picture of all the different brush heads, and the Buxom brush head looks really, really nice. So I'm gonna test this one out today. This is what the brush head looks like. Looks pretty nice. Definitely some nice separation. Kind of like, I wouldn't say it's like the most thickening mascara, but it's definitely doing a good job at like separating all my lashes. Wow, it actually like did a really good job at separating like every single one of my lashes. Like I said, it's definitely not like thickening. It's not clumpy like whatsoever, but it did separate and make my lashes look really wispy and definitely longer. I'm gonna do one more coat. I usually go for a more like thickening, volumizing mascara, but I'm actually feeling this one. I think my lashes look really good. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit challenging on the lower lash line, but it's working. So far so good. I do like the mascara a lot actually. We'll see how it holds up as I do the rest of my makeup. Okay, let's move on to the skin. I have two primers I wanna try out. One is a more hydrating primer and the other one's a more matte primer. So I think I'll do like the hydrating one like around the perimeters of my face and then the matte one like down the center. So for the hydrating one, we have the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Skin Booster. So it's supposed to be a plumping hydrating serum primer. It's really funny actually because I just did a client over the weekend who wanted me to use her primer and her foundation, and her primer she wanted me to use was this primer actually, and she was like, it's so good, you need to get it. I didn't even know I had this sample in my drawer, otherwise I would have tried it a while ago, but she loves this stuff and her foundation did look great when I put it on. I remember it being like a very liquidy consistency, so it's kind of, this is what it looks like. It's clear. It's a very like watery, almost runny consistency. So I'm just gonna put a little bit in between my fingers and just smooth it on. It feels like the tiniest bit tacky, which is actually good for foundation, so it has something to like cling to. It doesn't feel sticky at all. It feels very hydrating and nice on the skin. It feels really soft. It doesn't feel like silicone-y or anything like that. Just definitely a nice hydrating primer. All right, so we'll see how foundation goes on top of that. So for the more matte primer, I actually have a sample of the Becca Ever Matte Poreless Priming Perfector. So it's the one that looks like that. And it's supposed to be a mattifying primer. It says liquid blotting paper, 12-hour shine control. This oil control primer acts as a liquid blotting paper to leave your skin matte and perfected for up to 12 hours. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but that's what the primer looks like. Kind of has like that silicone look to it. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of this and I'm gonna put it on my nose because that's where I have the largest pores. Ooh, this feels cool. Oh, I like the feeling of this. I thought it was gonna be a lot more like drying, kind of like the Porefessional by Benefit, but it feels a lot different actually. Ooh. I don't know what to compare this to. This is like a really cool feeling primer. It's like a hydrating matte pore filling primer. So I'm gonna put it right on this side so we can compare it to this side. but it seriously did just like completely smooth out my pores. And it doesn't feel like that slip, like silicone feeling to it. It's just like staying in place. And it doesn't even feel like I have any primer on my face anymore. It kind of just like soaked in and literally filled in my pores. So the primer, definitely impressive. I'm really hoping that my foundation goes really nicely on top of this, because if so, like I'm buying this tonight. So for foundation, I have the Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation. I used to actually wear like the old formulation of this foundation, like when it first came out. I used to love that, and I know they updated the formula, so I haven't tried the new formula of it yet. I have the shade Y245, and it says it equals shade 120, which used to be my shade in the old formulation. So I'm hoping this one matches me. If not, I have a couple other samples we can choose from. I love Makeup Forever. They have a huge shade range. They're very inclusive. It says ultra lightweight texture, ultra flawless skin, buildable medium coverage, natural finish, last all day, normal, combination, and dry skin types. So I guess it's good for all skin types. Okay, I'm excited. I think this color is gonna be like really perfect for me actually, by just looking at it. Oh yeah, this is a good color. Definitely a liquidy consistency like the old formula. I'm first just going to take a little bit on my brush here and then brush it on and blend it out with the Beauty Blender. Okay, yeah, this color is really good. It's definitely a lot like I remember the old formula being. Very lightweight, but still pigmented and natural looking. It's not the most full coverage foundation, but it does look nice on the skin. I'm just going to go straight in with some on the Beauty Blender just to build it up a little bit. You can definitely get a little bit more fuller coverage with doing that. That primer is seriously ruling my life right now. My pores look like non-existent right now. And the other primer is definitely giving this foundation a nice base to stick to. This looks really beautiful on my skin. You can definitely like still see my skin through it. It's probably a little blown out with the lights right now, but like you can definitely still see my skin a little bit. But it looks really good and perfected and natural. It has like a soft matte finish to it. I don't know if it does without the primer underneath it, but with the primer, it does have like a nice soft matte natural finish. It's not like too dewy, it's not too matte, it's like a perfect finish. It's really, really nice, guys. So for concealer, the only concealer that I had sample-wise that would match me, or I can get like close of a match to, was Urban Decay Naked Skin. I'm pissed because I actually had the Makeup Forever HD sample, but the shades of concealer are like way too dark for me. They're almost like contouring shades, so I can't use that one. So I'm gonna use the Urban Decay Naked Skin, which I have tried the Naked Skin concealer in the past. And I was at the time where like I only used like really hydrating concealers, so when I tried it I like wasn't the biggest fan of it. So I'm excited to try it again. It's been a couple years since I've tried it, so we'll see how it goes today. I'm gonna use the shade Light Warm, and maybe I'll even contour or like try and bronze up with dark golden. We'll see how that goes. It actually looks a lot more creamy than I remember it being. Maybe I'm thinking of a different concealer, I don't know, but it actually doesn't look as like drying formula wise as I remember. So I'm just gonna blend out the rest with the Beauty Blender. It actually looks really nice underneath the eye. It's definitely not like super full coverage, but it's very lightweight. It was easy to blend out. The finish of it is really nice. It actually does dry down to more of a matte finish, so maybe that's why I was thinking of it. It's not like blowing my mind, but I do like it. Like I'm not hating it. It does start to set pretty quickly, so I don't even feel like I really need to set it actually. So I was gonna do some like bronzing contouring with the shade Dark Golden, but it actually looks like a little bit too warm for me. It's probably gonna look pretty orange on my face, so I'm not gonna do that. Instead, I'm gonna go in with this Tarte sample that I got here. This is the Park Ave Princess bronzer. So we're just gonna bronze up with that. And then there's also a blush on the other side. This is Glisten Amazonian Clay Blush, which they're both really pretty colors actually. So I'm just gonna use this. So I'm reading the back of this little card, and it says the bronzer is actually a matte waterproof bronzer. So I guess it's meant to be waterproof. I'm not going to test that theory today, but it's probably like sweat resistant. It probably holds up really well. I do like the color. It's definitely not like the most intense bronzer. I don't know if it's just because it's like on a piece of paper. It's like really packed on there. But it does look really nice. It's definitely matte. It's absolutely like 100% a matte finish. There's no visible shimmer to it. It looks really natural. I wouldn't say this is like a carve out your features kind of bronzer or contour. It's like a very natural looking finish and shade. I just realized I don't have a highlighter sample to use, so I'm just gonna have to use one of my own. But this blush actually has very fine like gold iridescent pigments in it, so it does have a little bit of a shimmer in it. So I'm just gonna take a little bit on my brush and pop that on the cheeks. I love when blushes have gold like reflex and undertones in them. It's just like my cup of tea. And just for an extra pop, I'm gonna use my Fenty Beauty highlighter in Hustla Baby, just because I don't really have a highlighter to use. And I love this one. Okay, so the only other thing I really have left to do is my lips, and I do have some lipstick samples from like Smashbox and stuff, but I just wanna set my face real quick before we do that. And I have a sample of the Kat Von D Lock-It Makeup Setting Mist. I haven't tried this, and I've heard good things about it, so it comes in like this cute little like perfume sample bottle. This is the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. So let me just like spray it first. Make sure it doesn't, okay, so it's not gonna come out in like a direct stream missile. So let's just set real quick. I just like smelt it, was that weird? It smells good. So nothing bad to say about the setting spray. So far so good. It's set nicely on the face. I like it. So for lipstick, I have a sample of the Smashbox Be Legendary Liquid Metal and Liquid Pigment. Wait. Oh, is a liquid pigment like a liquid lipstick? Wait. So confused. So it says these two are liquid pigments and these two are liquid glosses. So like, are the liquid pigments like liquid lipsticks? I'm really confused. All right, so I'm gonna open them up and I'm just gonna swatch all of them so we can see the difference. So these definitely look like way more intensely colored in person. The light is kind of washing them out a little bit. Like this red is super, super red looking in person. Both of these have metallic pigments in it. And then these two, they're the same formula, but these two don't have any pigments in it and they're matte. They don't dry matte, but they don't have any like iridescence to them. So this is Crimson Chrome, this is Haterade, and then we have Rose, what is it? Rose Before Bros, and Mauve Wife. So these are definitely way more pigmented than like your typical gloss. They're seriously like a lipstick in a cream form, like a cream liquid form. That's like how I can describe them. Like, look how pigmented they are. They're just like, seriously crazy pigmented. The only thing about these though is like, you gotta be careful because these guys will get on your teeth. Probably like a little bit worse than like a regular lipstick would. This shade is definitely more like pinky than I normally like to go, but it's a pretty shade. This was the shade Mauve Wife. So all in all, I really liked pretty much everything. I think I'm definitely gonna invest in the foundation. The, what is it? The Hydra Boost, I really like this. I love the way my foundation looks today. Like, I don't know if it's the Hydra Boost or just the foundation's pretty freaking bomb. And I was also obsessed with that matte Becca pore filling primer. Like, that stuff is bomb. My freaking pores look non-existent. I'm really, really loving the way like my base looks today. So I think I'm gonna have to get those products. But like everything else was really nice. The blush and bronzer were nice. This lipstick, oh my god. But everything else was pretty freaking bomb. Like, I'm pretty impressed that everything I used today was just samples. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe before you leave. And if you guys like this video, I'll definitely do more of them because I still have like a crap load of samples in that box. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.